Hello everyone! Today I'm not doing a speed build video like I normally do on my channel. As you can see, my channel is pretty much speed build videos, but for today I'm going to be giving you a step-by-step tutorial as to how you can go about building a house in The Sims 4. Now, it's not as difficult as you think it is. Just remember to take the pressure off of yourself, and practice makes perfect in every circumstance. Alright, so I'm going to give you approximately 9 practical steps that you can follow in order for you to take into your own game and ultimately build yourself something nice that you can eventually over time expand on as well. What we're building today, I will definitely also upload onto the gallery, so you also have access to it and playing around with that whenever you want to do so. With that being said, now let's get into it. Now, before I begin building anything in the game, you'd need to obviously go ahead and choose an empty lot which to build on. Okay, so once you've got your empty lot secured, you'll see here in the venue info for mine today I've chosen a 40 by 30 lot. If you want to use something bigger, you can. If you want to use something smaller, you can also do so. It's entirely up to you. All right, but what we're going to do, and actually what's step 1 for this process, is always go with basic shapes. Okay, you want to make it easy on yourself. You don't want to make it too complicated. What I used to do as a beginner, and I'm sure a lot of other people have done this as well, is that when we see other more advanced builds, especially when we're still beginning, we want to give ourselves such a huge challenge to try build something similar to that. And obviously you'll go ahead as a beginner, add so many elements onto your lot, and just you're unable to bring it all together because obviously you're still learning, you're still in the beginning phases. So always just be gentle on yourself, be patient with yourself, you will get there. All right, there's no need to rush the process. So if you come here to the walls and empty rooms tool, you'll see here there's a room tool with 4 walls on it. Okay, I prefer to use that one, especially for building, because it's much easier. It applies 4 walls. I'm just going to go ahead and maybe just build let's build a rectangular sort of shape there. I'm gonna sort of overlap this one with a bit of a square figure there, and maybe I'm gonna come back and finish off or add a rectangular shape onto that side of the house as well. Okay, so there you go. That is step 1 done and dusted. Essentially is to deal with basic shapes. If you put 3 of them on the lot like this, trust you me, it's easy to work with, it's easy to expand on. Okay, it's not too much all in one go. All right, so this is not to overwhelm anyone, it's just to help you step by step gradually through the process, so you'll be able to build your own houses. All right, now step 2 of house building is you're gonna have to look at foundations and steps. All right, now you have 2 options. It's either you can build your house like this on the ground and leave it like this as it is, or you can raise a foundation to make it look more of like a home. So if you want to raise the foundation, you just come here to the select tool with this arrow up here in the center of your screen, and essentially choose any segment of the house. So choose any shape, and if you click on it, you'll see you've got this icon in the middle with this block and 2 arrows coming out of it. Now if I click and hold onto that and I push my mouse either up or down, you'll see I have this green outline on every bottom of every segment of the house, and that's basically just showing me that if it's up to there, for an example, and I decide to let go, that is the height of the foundation that will be applied to my house. Okay, so normally I'd go with something like that. All right, and there you go, you've got a decently sized foundation. If you want to go much higher, you can. If you want to go much lower, you can. If you want to build immediately on the ground, you can also do that. Okay, it's entirely up to you. Let your creativity run wild when it comes to The Sims. Try not to limit yourself to trying to be perfect or trying to be too much of a perfectionist. I find that will never work out. You will end up feeling a little bit overwhelmed and intimidated by what you're trying to do, and you're likely to give up very soon. Okay, so be gentle on yourself, practice, and remember just to have fun ultimately, because that's what this game is about. Once you've added or you've raised the foundation to your home, your Sims won't be able to access the home how it is. All right, so you're going to have to include some sort of a staircase or a little bit of steps for them to be able to climb and then just get into the house. And in order to do that, we're still now on the walls and empty rooms tool. We're going to come here and use the square platform. This is the one that I normally like to use, and the area where I'm going to be putting my front entrance is over here. and that's where you want to target your square platform to be, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and click and add the square platform there, but you'll see that it only adds a square, and also it's a little bit raised. So to lower it, to make it the equal height to the flooring of the house, I'm simply going to click on it, and there's this little lower platform arrow over there. I'm going to go ahead and move that down, and you'll see it's an equal height to the flooring of the house. And I can go ahead and just click on it again. You'll see there's an arrow that comes out of the side. I can drag it all the way to the other side, and there we go. We've got something that's sort of a little bit equalized in that sense. It doesn't look like it's all just one little segment on its own over there. Okay, so that's what you want to do. And then to add some steps to it, you'll come here on the diagram to the stairs and ladders tool, and if you click on that, you'll see you've got a range of stairs to choose from. Okay, so I'm just gonna go with this one, the ladder like stairway, and you can see immediately when you want to place it, it's facing in the opposite direction. It's not really facing where you want it to go. In order to fix that, I'm going to use these keys on my keyboard, and you're just basically going to rotate it until it's facing where you want it to go. And you'll see that as you approach your little platform, it will shorten itself to become the height of the platform. All right, and then you click. That's it. That's how you place a staircase. And if you want to drag it out, you can do that by using the arrows, and you've got something a little bit more even over there. Okay, you can also go ahead to the stair railings tool, and you can choose any of the railings here, and you can simply just hover over your stairs with the railings in your hand, and if you click, there you go, it will apply the railings to your staircase there. I normally don't like to leave it like this. I want to just continue and maybe just add a little bit more of the railing to the front entrance or to the wall of the house. And the way you do that is you're going to use the fences tool. So if you come back to the diagram and you see the fences tool here, you're going to click on that, and essentially just choose any of the fences there, and you'll see immediately when you hover over the area where you want to put it, it's going to be transparent, and you can just simply go ahead there and click where you want it to go like that, and it will apply it very beautifully for you. Okay, there you go. So you've got the wonderful railings going on. Once you've gone and now you've added your beautiful fencing tool to add or to continue the railings a little bit to the front wall of your house, that is now step 2 done and dusted. Step 1, let's recap, was your basic shapes. Step 2 was your foundations and steps. Now we're ready to move on to step 3, which is going to be windows and doors. Okay, so what you're going to have to do, you're going to come onto your diagram to the door tool. We'll start there, and we'll basically put here, you'll see I've got a range of doors to choose from. Now depending on what kind of design you're going for, you're just going to kind of choose any door and place it on there. So I'm going to go ahead with this double door here, because what I'm going to place down is an entrance door to the house, so the main entrance where people can obviously just enter the house from. Okay, so we've got that entrance going on. Throughout the house there will be a number of other entrances, but we'll get to that point. The next item you're going to want to do is look at windows. If I click on the windows tool here, you'll see I have a range of windows. There's 2 ways of going about placing windows in the game. You can either place them individually if you want to do that, or you can place them by room using the by room tool, and what happens is the game will place windows for you automatically, okay, based on the segment of the room or the house that you click on. So if I want to go individually, let's say I'll come here, maybe just choose some random window. Maybe I'll pick that window there. Okay, decent window. You'll see now what's going to happen. If I'm placing individually, I can do that. Okay, alternatively, if I don't want to place individually, I can go back to that window. All I need to do is simply click on, where did it go? There we go, and I click on the by room tool over here, and you'll see if I hover over that section of the house, the game will show me a preview of where it would have placed the windows for me. And if I simply just click, then there you go, I have my windows placed for me on the lot. and on that section as well, and I can also do it for this section too. So now I've got decently placed windows over here. You can go to the select tool and move them around. If maybe you see some are too close to each other or whatever the case may be, you can do that and choose to just move them around a little bit. So entirely up to you in terms of what it is you're trying to achieve with your home. Okay, so windows and doors are sorted. The next thing I want to show you guys, and this is step number 4 now, is passages. All right, because for me, I never want to go from a bathroom immediately into a kitchen or from a kitchen immediately into my bedroom. There has to be some sort of hallway or passages in place that can give me a little bit of walking ground to get to where I need to go within my home. All right, because you just don't want the situation where things are just way too close to each other and there's no breathing room in your house to get from place A to place B. All right, so in passages, we go back to the walls and empty rooms tool, and I'll click on this wall tool here that will place individual walls, and I like to count 2 square tiles. All right, and then I will just literally hold down and drag the wall tool, and I have my first passage over there. Okay, and I'm gonna do that with the second part of the house as well. You just click and drag, and now you've got wonderful passages applied. Now we can also just go back to step now we can go back to step number 3 in this regard, because what you're going to want to do is definitely go ahead and then just add those doors or fix the windows or what's going on there. But what we're going to focus on now is step number 5, which is room placement. Okay, room placement, paints and flooring is also very important. What you're going to do and what room placement is now that you've got the basic layout of your house done, you have to decide which room is going to be for what. You have to segment your house and make sure that you're actually laying out different rooms and you're segmenting the place the way that you want to do so. Okay, so I can come here, for example, using the wall tool, and I can click and drag and have a room over there. I can click and drag over here, have a room over there. I can do the same here, etc. And I can go to the other side of the house and maybe make a room there, make a room there, and there we go. We've got some sort of room placement going on where we have decided or segmented our house to give us room to actually place different rooms there. And where it comes into play with the paints and the flooring tool is obviously based on your imagination and what you want to do for each room. You will color it or decorate it in line with the kind of room that you're trying to achieve. So for example, if you've decided that this part of the house is going to be a bathroom, you may want to come here to the wall patterns tool, and maybe you're going to look for a wall pattern that's got some sort of tiles with it. All right, and maybe you want to go for this nature's glow one, and then there's various colors within this, but maybe the gray one, and then you'll hold down shift and there you go. The whole now bathroom has got this tiled walling. You can also come here to the floor and ceiling pattern side of things, choose the tile option, and then just have a look at the different range of tiles that you have available and definitely go on and apply that. But you'll notice when it comes to doing flooring, I like to do it with the grid lines off so that I can see exactly what's happening with the home. So if I just press G on my keyboard, you'll see it takes away the grid lines, and then I'm able to see exactly what it is that I'm doing. So maybe now I see that this is not the floor that I want to go with for a bathroom. Maybe I want to go with this type of tile. I can go ahead, shift, and then make my placement over there. All right, so once you've done room placement, you're definitely going to want to come back here, take some doors, and let's just go maybe with these gray doors, and you want to place a door, on each and every single room. Normally what I like to do with the room that's immediately, from the entrance of the house, I like using archways, or sort of, like not doors per se, but sort of like open archways that will lead you into the passage area, and I'll go ahead and place those there. So just to recap again, we looked at the basic shapes, we looked at foundations and steps, we looked at windows and doors, we looked at passages, we looked at room placement, paints and flooring we also did touch on. Okay, And also with paints and floorings, don't forget to paint the outside of your house. That can get neglected quite easily, so you do want to just make sure you come and you paint the outdoors. I normally like to go with something like brownish on the outside of my house, and I'll hold down the shift key as I generally just take the paint and I make sure that I'm applying it to the whole outdoor segment or the outdoor area of the house. And then you've got that sorted out. All right, flooring, you would obviously come to the floor ceiling patterns and play with each type of flooring the way that you want to play with it. All right, so it's up to you what you want to do. I don't want to spend too much time on it because ultimately the creativity lies with you. Okay, depending on what you want to do each room, you will obviously come and choose what kind of flooring you want to place on it and what kind of wall patterns you want to place, and there's different types. So play around with it, explore a little bit what you have, and just make it yours ultimately. All right, now step 6 is lighting, and let us not neglect how important lighting is. If you come here to objects by room, or even if you go to objects by function over here, you will see here that you have a range of options to choose from. Okay, and you can definitely go here and then choose the lighting tool, and you'll see you've got lighting that's table lamps, you've got floor lamps, outdoor lights, wall lights, and ceiling lamps. What my go-to when it comes to doing lighting is I like using the super subtle saucer light over here, and I would generally place 4 of them per each room, you know, and you'll see that when you start to lay down your lighting, the room does light up a bit. Okay, and you will have some going down on your passageway like that. You will place some in this area here. What I generally like using this sort of entranceway area for is like a kitchen and a small little dining area, where the Sims can come and just have dinner and food and stuff. But it's entirely up to you. Some players use it as a foyer or a lobby, and really it depends on what you want to do. But for me, it's normally my go-to kitchen area, and then a little dining area, little tables and chairs that I put in there for the Sims to be able to dine with. Okay, so lighting is now sorted. You also want to go ahead and put some outdoor lights. Okay, so you'll click on the outdoor light button there, and make sure you're just picking a light that's just suitable for the outdoors. I would go with this colonial outdoor wall lamp. What you want to do is you want to overwhelm, placing them like so many lights close, because what I've seen is that when people place outdoor lights, they tend to want to place so many lights close together, and I'm like, no, just one, and then skip one window or skip 2 windows or 3 windows and then place another one. Just space them out nicely, in a way that it's kind of acceptable. You're letting the house breathe at the same time. You're not overwhelming with too many lights. So that's what you can do. Okay, so now we've got our lighting covered, and the next step to building a house is you can do what we call outdoor areas. Okay, so that is step 7 on my list, and outdoor areas is entirely what you want to do. Either you want to make it into a pool area, or you want to maybe put a grill there and some tables and chairs and picnic tables like as an outdoor eating area, or you can make it into a playground. If you want to have your Sims that do have young children, you can turn it into that, or sky's the limit really, depending on what you want to do. So if you want to do an outdoor area, what I'll come and do is on the build tool, I will still click on walls and empty rooms, but this time I'm going to go for half walls. That's just a nice way to kind of separate out the outside and basically what I'm trying to achieve with doing my little cozy little outdoor area. Okay, but it depends on you. Some players prefer to use fencing, which is absolutely fine. I prefer to use the half walls, and I'll come in here and use the standard half wall, the 1.25 meter half wall, and I will just draw in that half wall here. So as you can see, let me not make it too, yeah, that's perfectly fine. And I'm just sort of going to drag it out to like the end of the house or the edge of the house there. And there we go. I've got my cute little cozy outdoor area. Then I'm going to come here to the pools and fountains tool and click on the pool tool. And you'll see I'll be able to have a nice swimming pool going over there. Oh my goodness, why does it keep doing this? I have this tendency where I'm trying to build a pool tool and it builds it over and above instead of going into the actual foundation. There we go. So we've got a nice sort of pool there where your Sims can comfortably swim laps on. If you want to make it smaller, you can. If you want to make it bigger, you can sort of fill this whole area with the pool. I'm not going to do that though. I'm going to leave it like this. What you can do is add some recliners so your Sims can, you know, sunbathe, or you know, add a grill and like some picnic tables, turn it into an outdoor seating area / pool area. You let your creativity run wild. Okay, so I'll leave that up to your imagination in terms of what you would like to do. The other thing you must not forget to do is to come back to the doors tool and at least, you know, have sort of like a doorway that leads to this outdoor area. So I'm going to go with this one and just prop that down over there. Then your Sims can happily and easily access the door area. The other thing I like to do is not to leave it concrete, so I'll come here into the floor and ceiling patterns. I'll click on stone. Maybe and I really like this antique stone tile, and I'll generally use that as my go-to, and I'll just hold down the shift key whilst clicking, and you'll see it applies for me this wonderful stone tile all around. It just makes it look very nice, you know, very decent. And there you go, you've got sort of like an outdoor area going on there. Now the next part of this is the roofs tool. All right, roofs is step number 8 of building our house. Now roofs give all of us anxiety, okay? Especially me, I get anxiety every time I have to build a roof, because it's more like a trial and error thing. You know, sometimes you'll build a roof or you'll do a roof placement and maybe you don't like how it looks and you have to remove it and try something else, and it's trial and error. All right, there are some Simmers out there that really know how to wing this thing like the first time they do it, but others like me, it's more trial and error. So I'm gonna go ahead here to the roofs tool. I'm gonna choose the gabled roof. Okay, I like the gabled roof and how it looks, and I'm gonna go ahead and click and put the first segment of my roof there, and I'm just going to drag it across like that. Okay, now I've dragged it to the other edge of the place where I wanted it. I'm also going to drag it backwards like this. Okay, so now we have a bit of a gabled roof going from the front of the house all the way up until we have the back exit to our outdoor area. Right, now I'm going to take another gabled roof. I'm going to click on it again. I'm going to use the arrow keys on my keyboard just to rotate it, and I'm going to add a roof on this section, and I'm going to drag it out to the other edge of the house. Now I think what I did here is I made this house, or this part of the house, a little bit more forward. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag it back a tile, and that section as well I'm going to drag back a tile there, so that we can have, you know, the roof going from one end of the house to the other end of the house. It can kind of look a little bit more equal, a little bit more, you know, understandable, if I can put it that way. Then I'm just going to drag it out and just make it a little bit bigger, you know, because there's no reason for it to stay too narrow. So I'm just going to leave it like that. That is totally fine. And what you're going to do for the rest of the house like this, you can take another gabled roof, obviously rotate it again using the keys, bring it here, drag it out, and again you're just going to pull it all the way to that side of the house. I try my best to have roofs not overlapping too much, but sometimes it's not possible. You know, I just do what I can. So I'm gonna do another gabled roof like that, and that side of the roof is just a little bit more thicker. But essentially you've got something decent to work with when it comes to this house. You've got, you know, decent roofing going on. Obviously you can expand and, you know, contract depending on what your styles are, but I think that is decent enough. If you don't want it too heaped, you can obviously just go ahead. If you click on the roof, there are a number of arrows that you can then just play around with to maybe bring it down a notch if you want. If you want it a little bit like that, or if you want to keep it where it is. I generally like to keep the height of the roofs how they are, so when I build them, and the height that they come with is generally the height that I like to keep when it comes to this house. And you mustn't forget as well, so, you know, wall painters definitely in order. You need to make sure that the tops of your roof or the wall sections of your roof are, you know, the same color paint as the rest of your house. And what you can do with the roofing, you can also, I see like people like to come and add like little windows. So you can come ahead and just add some windows over there on the top of the house like that, maybe a window over there, you know, a window over there, just whatever rocks your boat. Also, another thing you can do with roofing is, I don't know what they call them, and you'll let me know in the comment section below what they're called, but these little like cube thingies with like roofs on them as well, kind of making it look like an attic, but it's not an attic. Don't know what you call those things, but you can go ahead and then come here, use the room tool and literally draw these things. Ooh, I think I drew them too close. So there, I've got one of them going on there, okay, and I can click on that and I can copy it, have another one there, maybe copy it again, and put a third and final one maybe on that side of the house. It does add a little bit of a nice finish to the house, to be honest. I do agree with adding these things. They do add a nice finish. And what you'll do is you'll come back to your roofing tool and you'll go and add a gabled roof to it like that, okay? And then I'll copy that roof, add it here. I'll copy that, add it that side too. Okay, so then you've got something very nice to work with. Let me just have a look. Yeah, and that's basically, so you're gonna come ahead here and definitely want to make sure that you're coloring them nicely. They must mimic and look like the rest of your house. And what you can do also is add a window to it. It entirely depends on you if you want to go ahead and maybe add the same window that you've been using for the rest of the house and add it there. That's all good. And you know, there you have it. There's your roofing tool. And you know, you can even add more of these things. So you can copy them, maybe rotate a little bit, add one there, copy, maybe add one there, add one there. Ooh, did I add one? Yeah, that's perfectly fine. And then obviously you can come ahead here, or you can go ahead and add another roof to that and add another roof there, and you know, add these little roof thingies here. So it's always in the walls and empty rooms tool where you'll just go ahead and then just add those additions to your house over there. Okay. And that is pretty much step 8. That is roofing done and dusted. I'm going to the next step in my list was landscaping, which is step 9. But I think before I get into landscaping, I'm gonna go ahead and maybe what I want to do in the front of my house is maybe just expand on the front of my house a little bit, because I feel that what I want to do here is just have like a nice cute little Porsche thingy happening. Oh no, hold on, not like that. We must expand it like this and like that. So you see how I'm using the arrow tool just to like expand on everything. And that's the nice thing about building in The Sims 4, because to be honest, The Sims 3 didn't have this tool where you can just click on things and drag them. You like in The Sims 3, if I wanted to go back and do something like this, I think I would have to kind of erase the whole front part and then kind of rebuild it again or modify it with building. But you know, here we don't have to do that. So here we go. I'm just going to expand, and the way I like to do this is I prefer to sort of let me just have a look if it works. You can go ahead and then use your square platform to, you know, just add some sort of a feature like that with. Hold on, I just want to make sure it's not too forward, just decently sized. I don't know what I'm gonna do about these irritating little edges over here. I think I'm just gonna run with it, but there you go. So you want to have something like this, and then maybe you can add like a column as well, like to kind of just expand on that a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead with this Greco-Romanian column. I'm gonna use a white one, and I'm gonna copy and paste. Now I've just got a nice decently sized column, and basically it just expands into the front entrance of the house. And what I can do with this, I can go back to the roofs tool like this. This time around I'm gonna go with this half gabled roof, obviously rotating it a little bit, dragging it out to the other edge, dragging it forward like this, and I'm going to just lay it down flat. Because you don't want it to be like something like that. I don't know if that sort of makes sense, or you don't even have to do it like this. You can use the hipped roof and drag the hipped roof out. I think the hipped roof would look better. The only problem that annoys me with the hipped roof is that you've got these lines that are all around it, but you know what, nonetheless, I'm just gonna I'm just gonna leave it like that. I'll go ahead and just replace that one window, and maybe what I'll do is I'll include, could I not maybe put, no you can't, okay, that's fine. And there you have it. I think this is like a decently shaped house. I went a little bit overboard there, I know, with the whole front foundation thingy and bringing it forward, and I went a bit overboard. All right, I'm sorry. That's totally deviating from my steps, but it's just something I wanted to kind of give an idea of what else you could do to kind of just expand on your house a little bit. About these foundations as well, you can also color them or, you know, change their styles. If you come here to the foundations tool, you have quite, you know, a variety to choose from. And I'm just going to go with that, and maybe I'll just come in here and then just, you know, color my foundations. And I've just realized that I haven't actually colored or painted my half walls to kind of be in line with the rest of my house, which is bad, very bad. So to do that, I'll just click on the eyedropper tool here, eyedrop on my wall coloring, and then go ahead and place that in there like that. Okay, so now the house is decently, you know, painted on the outside. The inside is entirely up to you, but there we go. Now step number 9, that brings us to step number 9, which is landscaping. And landscaping, I prefer to do landscaping within a fence. You don't have to do that within a fence, it's entirely up to you. Where I would build a fence essentially to go around the whole perimeter of the house and then do my landscaping inside of that, but it's up to you. But with landscaping, you're going to click on this option here for outdoor plants. And you'll see you've got options. So you, from trees to shrubs to flowers and rocks, etc. So what we can do is with our rocks, maybe I'll place a rock here and I'll hold down shift and just do placement of mini rocks to kind of just give it a bit of, you know, almost like fencing off our entrance, but not really fencing it off. And then I'll probably come here to shrubs and maybe just put a shrub there in the corner and maybe put another one there, you know, and flowers as well. You do the same thing. You essentially, you are just, landscaping is not difficult at all. It's just the placement of different plants just to give your home a little bit of, you know, liveliness and making it look good and stuff. But I'll definitely be sure to do another video on landscaping just to, you know, give some hints and tricks of how you want to get doing that. But I think for now, in our little cute house, I'm going to leave it like this for now, which is fine. The other thing you can also play around with is terrain tools, which includes terrain paints. You can literally paint your terrain. So if I want to go with a stone for the front entrance, I can do so. I can choose if I want it to be on a circular brush or you know, a square brush. I can choose the hardness of the brush as well. So basically like the contrast of what you're trying to place or paint onto the home lot. So I'm gonna go with square, and I'm just gonna make it that size, and you'll see as I hold down and drag, it's going to paint this wonderful, you know, stone paint onto the terrain. So basically allowing it to fit in with nature. And that's basically the area of the house where, you know, your Sims would likely walk on to get onto the steps and into your home. So you can also mess around or play around with you know, grass and flowers and that, and dirt and sand. It's entirely up to you. You can create ponds as well. I'll create a separate video on how to create ponds, you know, with the water tool and all of that. But again, back to landscaping, you know, you want to just go ahead and fill your landscape, you know, add flowers, add some, you know, some hedges, some bushes over there. You can do so much with the landscaping tool and all the different plants that you have access to. So I would just, you know, advise you to play around with the different options that you have and see how you want things to come out, you know, how you want to have your house designed and decorated and played around with. It's really, the sky is definitely not the limit when it comes to these things. And you can have this going all around your lot. You can come back here, add some trees as well if you want to do that. You know, the game has wonderful little tools and things that you can do. So yeah, and that's essentially, that brings me to almost the end of my tutorial. You know, building a house in The Sims 4 is really not complicated at all. You know, to build something like this, and you've seen now from the steps that we followed, it really is simple when you just break it down into easy to manage steps that you can follow, and then obviously you come out with a nice result like this. And over time you play around with it, you know, you get to add more things to it or maybe subtract, do whatever you want with it, you know, but this is just in a nutshell what will help you. So if we go back to all the steps that we've learned today, step 1 is always use basic shapes. Step 2, always have foundations and steps. Step 3 is adding your windows and your doors. Step 4 is passages or passageways. Step 5 is your room placements and your paints and your floors. Step 6 is lighting. Step 7 is your outdoor area. Step 8 is your roofs. And step 9, landscaping. 9-step way for you to have a wonderful house in The Sims 4 that is both easy to make, manageable, and your Sims can use it. It's not a house where, you know, if you have some walking into it and all of a sudden there's just an error with the house. It's a usable house, it's easy to make, simple to follow, and that's it from me. And that's really all you got to do. Remember, practice makes perfect. Okay, at the end of the day, you must practice as much as possible. You're not going to get it all in one go, so be patient with yourself. Don't overwhelm yourself with too much. Practice the basic steps, and eventually over time you will be building masterpieces that is just going to blow everyone's mind away. All right, so stay encouraged and enjoy. Bye.